Good morning to you and welcome to Front Page Review right here on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesere.
And of course, my name is Simeon Sunday. Good morning to you.
All right, so Simeon, on a very, calm and Friday note, let me start with that. Did you see the dragging that they dragged Ghana's Black Stars and their outfit for, the AFCON event? And I'm beginning to wonder, that's their signature. It's the kente cloth. It's the kente fabric. That's what is very, very pertinent with, the Ghanaians. So I'm wondering why we are dragging them up and down. It's not necessary.
I don't know why Nigerians are like this. We all know that it's been an age-long feud between Nigeria and Ghana, especially when it comes to issues, whether sports, whether music, politics, or that. They always drag us. They know they agree for us. Same as we know they agree for them as well. So when I saw them, the AFCON will be kicking off. And of course, I saw them landing yesterday. And when I saw the pictures, the clothes, the attire they wore, I felt it wasn't a big deal,
Yes.
But I was shocked when I went on X. The world of Twitter, which is now known as X, is a very different world from the entire social space. The people on that platform, I don't think
there are the ones that the police should be torchlighting.
Exactly.
There's no group for anybody.
Because
just
those
torchlight
set
them.
of people on
The
X,
violence is too much.
No, it's too much.
But anyway, the AFCON will be starting over the weekend, and we're hoping and wishing that the Super Eagles do really, really well. They do brilliant in this one because, it's been long since we were the champions, and we need to get that back. We need some good news right here. So I'm wishing them good luck and all the fortitude that they need at this point in time. Checking out our headlines this morning, you know that we do this program so that you can know all the stories and how it's affecting you as a Nigerian and us as Nigeria as well. So we're starting with PDP hailing Akwa Ibom governor on his Supreme Court victory. The People's Democratic Party on Thursday congratulated the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo Eno, on the judgment of the Supreme Court which upheld his victory in the March 18th 2023 governorship elections in the state. Now, the Punch reports that the Apex Court on Thursday dismissed 3 separate appeals by the APC, YPC, and the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, and their candidates against Eno. This was after counsel for the parties involved in the matter opted to withdraw their appeals. Reacting, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, described the judgment as a victory for democracy and the decisive triumph of the will of the people of Akwa Ibom State in their determination to preserve good governance in the state. Now, the statement read in part that the spontaneous jubilation across Akwa Ibom State at the news of the judgment of the Supreme Court shows that the verdict is in line with their expressed will, aspiration and choice at the March 18th, 2023 governorship elections. Governor Eno is a humble, compassionate and visionary leader, seasoned administrator with extensive managerial skills which he acquired over the years in both private and public sectors, qualities that continue to endear him to the people of Akwa Ibom State and for which they overwhelmingly elected him at the polls.
Okay, looking at that particular report, yesterday it was jubilation for people of Akwa Ibom State. I'm a Nigerian first. Of course, Akwa Ibom is my constituency as well. So, I could actually say I'm also happy for him. That doesn't mean for him anyways, because some of the policies Umoeno have been putting in place, I really do not understand. But that being said, congratulations to the PDP and congratulations to Pastor Umoeno. The people call him, there's a slogan for him in Happy Hour Governor. He is the same governor that said once he comes, he is going to institutionalize
Fridays.
Happy Hour. We're still waiting for him to institutionalize Happy Hour because we haven't seen
You'll
it done
drink
yet.
too much. You'll drink too much. You don't need it.
But that being said, we saw that some parties petitioned him at the end of the day after the election in Akwa Ibom State on the grounds of certificate forgery. And of course, we saw that, the court actually, struck out the cases, actually said those cases lacked no merit. And of course, we saw the petitioners withdraw their case against him, and hence he is the governor of the state right now. The truth is, I expected this, from the court. It wasn't even shocking for a lot of people. And as much as I'm not, really happy about some of the policies he has put in place, but let me still give him kudos because he has done so well in the short time that he has become the governor of the state. We just need him to. We just need to see him, have more people-friendly policies. The same Umoino, it is a state that the Jubilee Syringe Company have actually shut down.
Yes.
I won't blame him solely for that. The economy of the country is also biting hard on, business owners. But let's see more employment being created in Akwa Ibom State. You go to Akwa Ibom State, I can talk confidently because that is where I'm from. I know the state. I'm from Obodokara local government in Akwa Ibom State, so I know my state so well. So we need to see Umoino try as much as possible to create more jobs. Just recently, the government of the state was criticized for using about 32 billion naira to build, a cathedral, a place of worship. I won't blame him. It didn't start with him. It started with the governor.
Previous administration.
Yes, and of course, we saw that happen. But at the end of the day, we need to see subsequent governors and even the current governor of Akwa Ibom State intentionally invest in human capital rather than creating infrastructure that might not rake in funds as they are thinking. They said that is for tourism, but let's see them increase human capital development in Akwa Ibom State. You go to Akwa Ibom State right now, the average person business you see going down there is pure water business and hotel business. That's what thrives in that state. And of course, Akwa Ibom State now seems like a solely civil service state. A solely civil service state will not work. Let's see more factories.
And you begin to wonder, especially a state like Akwa Ibom State and, the South, that they're big on tourism. They have such great sites, amazing, such beautiful landscape, amazing places there that one can capitalize on. And you begin to wonder, some of these governors, just how well do they understand business? I was watching a Chinese person, someone in the government in China, I can't remember exactly. He was talking about surrounding himself with individuals who are smarter than him, who understand. All he needs to do is acquire people. That's all he needs. He doesn't need to have the technical know-how. He doesn't need to understand the business, in such, detail, but he needs to understand surface. But he gets people around him who know their onions. If it's in computer, if it's in tourism, whatever it is, he gets people who know better than he does so that they can drive those different sectors that he's looking at. So I think that governors at this point in time should actually prioritize that over whatever it is that they might be prioritizing. But on another note, I wanted to look at the situation of court giving verdicts on electoral cases. At this point in time, do we need to sit down and look at that? Look at it. March 18, that's when we had the elections. And we're looking at the confirmation January.
9 months
This
after.
is exactly. Person for don't born Pekin. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous the amount of time we give for court cases, especially when it comes to governorship and presidential elections in the country. So maybe the government, at this point in time, it feels like we're even rolling around the same issues, because who then will cause a reform in our laws except the politicians themselves, who these rules and regulations favor? So will they even sit down to look at these cases?
I understand you. These are valid points you've actually raised, and you mentioned that talking about courts handing verdicts or actually deciding winners of election. Let's go straight to one of the biggest stories in the news for today, and of course we've seen that report on several newspaper platforms. We've seen it on The Guardian, it's there on The Punch, it's also there on Daily Trust, but we'll be calling the headline from The Guardian newspaper for today. And of course, on The Guardian it says schools, banks, others shut as Supreme Court decides Kano governor. And there is also a similar headline on Daily Trust which says security beefed up as Kano, Plateau, 6 other governors no fate today, Friday. And of course, talking about that particular report, but let me call some part from the Daily Trust, and then we'll flip through some of the statements on The Guardian. On Daily Trust, it says, as the Supreme Court continues to pass judgments on governorship tussles in states, there is increased security in 8 states where final decisions on who are the governors who will be taken Friday. And even though the Apex Court had in the past few days taken final decisions on some governorship cases and the winners have moved on, the resolve to pass verdicts on cases involving 8 states same day has shifted the attention of millions of Nigerians to the issue at stake and how winners and losers would react to the outcome. And of course, the 8 states that judgment will be handed down today, Friday, are, Kano State, Plateau, that is Jos, Lagos State, Zamfara, Bauchi, Cross River, Abia, and Ebonyi State. So today, the governors will definitely know their fate if they will be, taking off power or if they will hold tight to their position. But one that a lot of people are really interested in. Let me tell you that those in Lagos, we are not trying to preempt, but Lagos is quite cool. We haven't seen so much tension in Lagos. Yesterday I was talking to a reporter friend of mine in Lagos, asking him what is the atmosphere like in Lagos, especially knowing that the judgment will be given today. And he said Lagos is calm. People are going about their business. There's no cause for alarm or cause for worry. But one state that we've seen a little bit of apprehension is Kano State. And of course, a lot of people will say, we know that Kano is one of the Kardashian, broad sisters, as they call them, the KKK states. These are some of the states that decide the fate of Nigerians.
And it's a state that's predominantly, Kwankwasia,
NNPP.
Yes, NNPP as well.
So, and looking at in Kano State, we've seen the reports where currently it seems like there is tension in the state, especially the capital, as residents await the verdict that will decide their lawful governor today. Schools and financial institutions have announced their closure, anticipating violence after the ruling. This is what people are anticipating, especially in Kano State today. And after its 8 months in power, the Supreme Court is set to issue a final judgment that will determine whether or not Abba Yusuf of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, will remain the governor of the state. And of course, we know that the embattled governor is challenging the verdicts of the tribunal and
you could see I mean, when he came into power, when he got the mandate, just after the elections, you could see some of the changes, the demolition. It was more or less like it was anger against the previous, administration rather. Anyway, let's get on with Mr. Oseni this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. El-Rufai. Welcome on board. Hello.
I can hear you. Good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning to you. All right, we have a couple of headlines today to talk about. We have the Supreme Court deciding 7 governors' fate today. We have Kano State, we have Lagos State, Zamfara, Plateau, Ebonyi, Bauchi, and Cross River State. We have these 7 states that the Supreme Court,
8
rather, will give judgment on. First of all, Mr. El-Rufai, at this point in time, aren't we taking way too long? The elections were held March 18th, and now we're seeing judgment being passed 9 months after. Isn't it too long in governance of those states as well?
I mean, that's the sad reality of our electoral system, and that's why we should harmonize things properly. And also, we shouldn't have a nation where everything goes to court for us to be able to get judgment. Look at Kano, for instance. The appellate court talked about a couple of things. They talked about, yes, disqualification that the governor, Abba Yusuf, was not properly nominated. They also deducted the 165,000 votes because the ballot paper were not stamped. And the Kano governor is going to court, Supreme Court, to say they should reverse all of that and make him the duly elected governor. In Cross River, for instance, what is happening as regards the fact that Governor Otu was not duly nominated. Governor Otu defected from the PDP and he refused to vacate his seat in the State House of Assembly then. And they said those against him are saying that there's nothing he wants to say, that the APC did not value nominating, but his lawyer Michael Zekome saying otherwise, that they should throw the case out. Then we have the case of Mufwang, that scaled through, and then the next hurdle before he's now going to the Supreme Court, and the last appellate court gave the judgment to Gashwe, was the fact that he was not duly nominated because there was a court order that was not met as regards what was happening in the PDP, and there's been a rancor in the PDP all this while, as regards what's it called, assembly and the primaries and the constitution of the part of the members of the party and the delegates itself. And there was a court order as regards that, and that has affected a couple of people like Senator Bwala and a couple of other people out there in Plateau State. So let's see how the court is going to rule on that. So there are many of these cases here and there, but it's incumbent on the courts to rule, and we'll get to the end of the matter.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for that. And quickly, let's talk especially about Kano State. Yesterday, as I said earlier, I was speaking to a reporter friend of mine in Lagos, and I asked about the environment in Lagos, and it seems like, most Lagosians are unperturbed about whatever judgment will be handed down today. But, the apprehension is more in Kano State. And the question a lot of Nigerians are asking at the moment is, why Kano State? Why, this high fever going on in that particular state? Is it because of, the fact that NNPP currently seems to be the major people in Kano State? Why is Kano State, seems to be on fire at the moment? Because from yesterday, we've seen pictures surfacing online from Kano State, and of course, people talking about it. Heated debate going on in Kano.
Kano is always very volatile. You saw even the last skirmish that happened at the last judgment in Kano. So Kano is always very volatile, and that's why people are watching with real, fright as regards Kano, and pretty much security forces have been put out there because of the volatility and the big cult followership of various factions, the Kwankwasia movement and some of the factions like that. So you have a lot of that going on. So that's the case with Kano. But you also know that there are two big political juggernauts. It's really a fight between Kwankwaso and now the leader of the APC. So, let's see how all of that pans out.
All right, Mr. Rufai, at this point in time, we're seeing Union Bank, Polaris, Keystone, the directors of those banks have been let go of and they've been sacked, and new directors list is being compiled at the moment. First of all, the reasons why this particular thing happened. It's not the first time we're seeing CBN sacking. It's not the first time we're seeing the CBN sacking the board of directors. It's not the first time we're seeing this particular situation. It's within the purview of the CBN, especially if it has anything to do with financial stability. But what exactly might be the reason for this particular sacking? Because we saw some reports here and there talking about the fact that the former CBN governor had used some proceeds from the CBN to set up some of these banks, in some way or the other. There's speculations like that. So, just help me understand what exactly is going on in this particular situation.
No, so a couple of things we should clearly say. The Basel report is different because we have not seen the finality of that, and that was not a leak report. That the report has been treated. So I don't think it's because of the Basel report, because when even a Basel submitted his report.
Hello?
The government's own is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
So the government will now write a white paper. That will be the government's own interpretation of the report and execution of some grounds on the report. But the government has not, we've not seen any white paper as regards that. So, but the CBN too is very nebulous. They need to give us everything. If you read the Tuesday newspaper this one, the front page, there was a news review, and it was very important. And they were asking the CBN to explain why all of this got changed. Because it's not that as if any major thing as of sort really happened, as it were. It was just, a reason that was very shrouded in secrecy. Because the reason they gave was just beginning. What is the real detail of what happened? Nothing. Because look at the bank. Take for instance, you want to look at the Union Bank, that their balance sheet, and their paper and their results grew from over 150 billion to over 300 billion. Their their adequacy ratio is between the thresholds. Their what's it called? Their capitalized grade is within the threshold. The reserve ratio is within the threshold, and all of that. The degree of non-performing loans is not that high. So there was nothing as such that was really, up in the air as regards the crisis, as regards this bank. But it's just with time. We would see recommendations. And I've been talking to some of the bank CEOs because there are some that are quite close to me among them. And, reasons have not still been stated. But let's just see how all of this pans out. CBN has made their decision. Let's see, how this effect will reverberate across the banking sector. But we need a lot of independence in the banking sector. And we need to be very careful as regards all of this level of decisions sometimes being taken. Because when you look at it deeply, Speak itself doesn't even have a board as we speak today. The president dissolved the board and government parastatal. So we don't have a board, and I'm sure that's why CBN has not been able to do their monetary policy meeting.
Okay, Mr. Rufai, at this point in time, we know that the CBN works generally. They're supposed to be independent of any influence whatsoever. So having a situation where external...
Forget about that. Forget about that. Don't say that. The CBN is not independent. Don't deceive yourself. It doesn't work. There's no independence. Pure and simple. It's stated there now. It contradicts it. If you go and read the CBN Act, you don't have full independence. That's why in cases of monetary, currency printing and everything, the CBN has to go and take permission from the president. That's why you saw during the Naira redesign, everybody blaming the president. It's false because it was the president that approved it. They really can't go ahead and print new currency without the president approving it. It's there in the CBN Act, and that's why that team of Basel report is suspect. So there's no independence. The presidency pretty much has the financing of the CBN. That's the reason why I forget.
Okay.
Still largely influences things.
Okay. Anyway, quickly,
yeah.
Let's get to talk about another headline as well. And this one has to do with what a lot of Nigerians now call the Better Gate or Edu Gate. And of course, the headline talks about, Sislak, who is now faulting the appointment of Anita. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Sislak is the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center is now faulting the appointment of the permanent secretary of the ministry, Abel Olumuyiwa Enitan, for being appointed by the president to take over the affairs of the ministry. And also, Peter Obi, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party, has also supported the president on this particular one, asking that indeed a full probe should be done on, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. But now let's look at the issue or the point Sislak is raising now for kicking against the appointment of, Abel Olumuyiwa as the one taking charge of the affairs of that particular ministry. And according to them, they actually said, at the moment, Sislak, the ministry is being investigated. And of course, Olumuyiwa at the moment is a project is an accountant in that particular ministry. Since the ministry is under investigation, he shouldn't be appointed to take charge of the affairs of the ministry. Now, the question a lot of Nigerians are asking is, who should have taken charge of that particular ministry since Beta Edu has been suspended, pending the outcome of the investigation against her?
I understand the concerns of Sislak, owing to the fact that he was also part of the murk that they are investigating. But the question we should ask is, there's no other person to take over, because either you like it or not, despite the investigation is going on, work must continue.
Definitely.
But what should now be done concerning this humanitarian ministry, I believe it should be scrapped. Have an exit evaluation and be scrapped. It's a ministry that was just created. It says about the second term, President Buhari. So have an exit plan and scrap it. You can do interventionist scheme without having a Ministry of Humanitarian. About the poverty alleviation program, and they have a Ministry of Humanitarian Services. And he was a minister anyway. There was corruption too in that one. But people were able to look at it. So you don't need multiplicity of ministries. I think it should be scrapped since the funding pipe. What should be done is that, those interventionist agencies and things like that, then you should be closely monitored, not the ministry and all of that. And I get the point. And you talking about Peter Obi, I thought you said it was the governorship candidate, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, not the governorship candidate. Yeah. So I think what Obi said is in line. Obi also talked about, cutting government costs by 60%, which is the real thing. Because you see, we can't have a budget of 28 trillion that we don't have the money
to fund it. Yes.
Our revenues are very below par. How much are we making? Okay, with our customs and everything, Customs was declaring, I think, first quarter earnings of about 3 trillion, and they were triumphant about it because the money is not far-reaching. And we don't have that money. And what we do is that we incur a lot of deficit. And only to think that most of the money will be frittered away in corruption, and most of these government officials will give themselves the contract in the end. So why don't we keep that money that we do not have and save it for something better and be able to effectively use it? So those are the things we keep talking about every time.
Okay, for the first time, we are now seeing, the Labour Party's presidential candidate and the president being on the same page for the first time in a long time after the election. Peter Obi saying yes, the president should keep probing, and of course, it's a good one to hear Peter Obi, lauding what the president is doing, especially as regards that particular ministry.
No, but it's cheeky when you say that Peter Obi is not an animal. If the president does well, we say he has done well. If he doesn't do well, we say he has not done well. So there's no big difference between Peter Obi commending the president because he has done well as regards, making the sweeping announcements and taking an action on the humanitarian ministry. I mean, criticism doesn't mean foolishness, does it?
But Mr. Rufai, the question now is that enough? Is it even enough? Does it even begin to make a dent in the size of reduction of the cost of governance that we're even talking about in the first place? Because how can you give a budget?
It doesn't make a dent.
How can you give a budget?
It doesn't make a dent.
And then send it to the National Assembly. You have a budget, and then you send it to the National Assembly, and instead of the National Assembly to scrutinize, they jacked it up. At this point in time, who's fooling who? Who should be making the sacrifices?
No, they did. National Assembly didn't jack it up. It was still the same government that cleverly went back to jack it up and said because of forex situations and all of that. It wasn't the National Assembly that jacked it up. They jacked it up themselves. What they just did is that, when somebody wants to steal, they will use the oil to rub the other person's mouth. Like when you remember when people used to steal meat on their mother's pots. So because if somebody needs an accomplice, they will carry their younger brother there. He will eat most of the meat. He will keep the younger brother small, but use more oil to rub him out. So when they say, who took the meat of the cookie first? They say, Mommy, I took the meat, but don't leave me. Oh. Your favorite child too is there. Oh. And yes, it's just small meat I took. So that's what they did between the National Assembly and the government. So the government too just jacked up the budget for the National Assembly. They added some more frivolous contracts there, like building a hospital, 12 billion for library and all sorts of frivolous contracts. So they all became complicit. And it shows the grand scale of madness that goes on in the country. I don't need to think that most of this money can be accounted for. But what is most important is that at least the president said we are cutting travel by 60%. Let's see how we can implement that. That will be able to spare us some funds. And the government should be able to tell us how much. And if the president does that, that's commendable. We can also say he should do more. But it is a commendable start. And if he does well, we'll say he has done well. So the people are not going to say because they're in opposition, if the president has done well, we'll say, he's stupid. No, opposition is not foolishness, please. It's empirical fact arguments.
All right, Mr. Rufai, let's move on to security or insecurity. Now, a French envoy has said that insecurity is impeding Nigeria's economic development. Now, this isn't the first time we're hearing someone somewhere talking about insecurity impeding the growth of our great nation, right? At this point in time, what exactly is your take on state policing? Now, I saw a headline yesterday. I was watching the news yesterday and the TV yesterday, and somebody was talking about state policing and how it's not necessarily the solution to our problems, because how can you say the governors who hire thugs to rig elections, the governors who do all sorts of unscrupulous activities should be in charge of policing generally in their state? What exactly is your take in the solution, in finding solutions to our problems?
So that argument is entirely right. It's a chicken and egg situation, because we've seen a practical effect of sort of like a state police Amotebu. And I'm carrying the law of blessed Mary. We never heard that Akele really used that Amotebu to influence elections for himself and all the other Southwest governors that have Amotebu. I think it's just a regulation we should also have, and also make it very difficult for governors or politicians to be able to, use security forces or state police to appropriate power to themselves, or to use them for selfish benefit. But you don't need a French envoy to tell you that insecurity stunts growth and everything. I mean, you know how many companies are leaving Nigeria because of insecurity? You know how many farmers can't farm again after over 100 farmers were massacred and slaughtered in Zabamari? So insecurity has destroyed everything about our economic prospect. The reason for the food inflation you are seeing in Nigeria is largely can be related to insecurity. There's so much that's not good, and it's painful on the economy, and there's no way forward. And that's why we keep calling President Tinubu to do something about, okay, look at Abuja-Kaduna Highway again, and look at how bad it has become again, that the other day people were scampering for their lives. So it speaks volumes about us.
Okay, and still talking about that, we've talked on the economy, you've talked about a couple of things, but let's talk about this sad development that happened, where it was reported that a 32-year-old, banker committed suicide. And of course, I saw that report yesterday. I saw the picture of this lady on social media, as well as, the suicide note she penned down. And of course, part of what she talked about in that particular suicide note was the economy wasn't even working for anybody, including herself. So now, it's quite worrisome that the effect of the economy is touching on everyone. And this is one that we know about. There could have been multiple suicide that would have happened without, coming to the social space in the first place or being reported. And now looking at this, we've actually said this on this platform a couple of times, that suicide is not, an option for young people, especially looking at how young she is. But how can we do, what can we do as individuals, even as a government, to ensure that we give a good life to Nigerians? Cases of like this of this nature shouldn't even be reported at all in a country like Nigeria.
I mean, you're very spot on. Suicide is never the solution. My heart goes out to that person, but please don't commit suicide. We know the economy is tough, and that's why we want the government to step in. And it's so sad that now you are hearing all this scandal in the humanitarian ministry with all the pain people are going through and the avarice they are going through. The little money for the poor people, they don't want to allow the poor to break. They're diverting all sorts of money to the bank accounts. But please do not commit suicide, because always remember a brighter day will come. You see, the interesting thing about life is that the secret of life is powerful. Today you are nothing. You don't know what tomorrow might bring for you. You might wake up with nothing in your pocket. Before today ends, you don't know the miracle that might come your way. So live life with the potential that good things will happen to you, and always have it at the back of your mind that living and dying and killing yourself is never the solution. Please stay firm, and please, we also need a lot of mental health awareness. I mean, I want you guys in Abuja to also do program and content around mental health. A lot of people are going through a lot. They just want to speak their mind out. We want to have that mental health helpline, that people can unburden. It's really very important. And please, you must also have a support network. You must have friends, you must have people you talk to. Don't just be an island, people you can trust. I know it's so difficult to trust people this day and age, but, people you can trust, people that can understand you, that can be there for you. And life will gradually bounce back. Mental health is a real deal. And please don't commit suicide. It's never the solution, it's never the answer. I beg you all. Bless you all this morning.
All right, Mr. Rufai, AFCON is going to start in a couple of hours, and what exactly is your take at this point?
Do you believe that this crop of Nigerian players can actually deliver for us, even though we saw them lose 2-0 just recently in the friendly game? Nigerians are like, you just lost your friendly game and you're supposed to go to the AFCON to give us the victory. Will we see this side do that for us? And also, before social media has gone really wild, some people calling them that they look like prisoners. Anyway, this goes back to the Ghana-Nigerian feud going on. But at the end of the day, will Nigeria deliver this time? Will this be one of the reasons for us to smile?
Okay, I mean, I just want Nigeria to do well. I know it's quite a tough time for all of us in the country, and I just hope that Nigeria can do well in the Nations Cup will put a smile on our face. I know we've had a lot of problems and injuries with strikers. Yesterday we had to replace Boniface with Murphy. Also, I hear another striker got injured. Omar got injured just as they were having a walkout yesterday. But please, these guys, you need to go out there and fight for Nigeria. And maybe there might just be a twist of law. I just want Africa Footballer of the Year at 23. This year, 2023, our top striker Oseni won Africa Footballer of the Year. Lanky just like Yekini, good shot power, great play just like Yekini. And you can now see that we are going to the Nations Cup in 2024. Just maybe we might win. In 2013, when we won the Nations Cup, nobody gave that team a chance. It was a mix of home-based teams and foreign basic. I mean, we had the likes of the Godfrey or Bible of this world at the back line. We had the likes of Sunday Oba of Warri Wolves. They were unknown people. But Coach Stephen Okechukwu Keshi put them together. And when Sunday Oba scored that rocket shots against Cote d'Ivoire in South Africa, then we knew we might just make it. And we went ahead to beat Burkina Faso in the final again. Yes. Despite the fact that Burkina Faso had formidable players, the likes of Bouncy and some other players like that. So whoever knows this might be Nigerian's time, Ivory Coast might be the good ground for us. The games will begin. It's a very lovely stadium. I was in Abidjan a couple of months ago. I saw the stadium. It's a plateau, just in the center of town itself. And let the games begin. Other venues too are coming up across Abidjan, across Ivory Coast. I wish the team well. And we're going to be doing our full Nations Cup roundup next week and analyzing the matches and see what we put out and what we did.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you so much, Alfred.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, I just love how optimistic Rufai is this morning, especially
I'm
as
actually
regards,
optimistic.
As regards Nigerians,
the Super Eagles
the Super
doing
Eagles
well.
doing well at the Nations Cup. We wish them well. We hope that they indeed deliver for Nigeria. Maybe this could actually be, the glimmer of hope that Nigerians have been waiting for.
Because
at least
trust me,
to start the year in an amazing way.
Yes, because trust me, the headlines have nothing but sadness. Most of the headlines are sad today. I will be looking at a couple others after this break. Let's pay some bills. We're back in just a moment.
Others may drop the mic. I talk into it. If you're in need of a voice, well, I've got one.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less. The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold berry ice cream. Delight in every school. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold berry ice cream. At number 4, Obomosho Street, Area 8, Geriki, Abuja, or 3rd Avenue, Guaripa, Abuja, or Federal Housing Estate, Phase 2, Lube, Abuja. Call 0908-831-5906 or 0908-831-5908 or 0909-238-9861. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at romeospizza.ng. Website www.romeospizza.ng. Romeo, the pizza champions.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports.
The Greek god in Rome!
Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, wicked.
Let the poor breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume what the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
This is Frontpage Review. Weekdays at 7:30. Now you have a voice.
Even when my brain just did.
Welcome back. This is the Voice of the People 96.1. 1 minute gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. My name is still Simeon Sunday, and she is Gaysire Agua right here. And we are still talking about the Front Page Review. We just had a conversation with Rufai Oseni all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Please remember, we are live on YouTube. You can join the live stream, drop a comment as well. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Abuja, Voice of the People Abuja. You can join in and of course join the conversation.
Exactly. You can always call, reach us on WhatsApp or the phone lines 0700 010 961 961. I'll take that again, 0700 010 961 961. You can always leave us a WhatsApp message or a voice note. Let's check out what you have to say. Remember, this is Voice of the People 96.1 FM, and we can't be doing this without your voice. All right, so check us out on YouTube. We're live, always live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. And then you can always send a message to 0700 010 961 961.
And now back to the Front Page Review. Let's get back to Daily Trust newspaper and talk about security. Yes, we talked about security earlier with Rufai Oseni, but it is necessary that we bring up this particular report, as it is said that bandits attacked residents in the FCT, abducting about 26 persons and 23 persons in the FCT. Daily Trust says bandits abduct 23 in FCT. Gunmen said to a number around 40 stormed the Kawu community in Bwala area council of the FCT in the early hours of Thursday and abducted 23 people. Kawu shares boundaries with two states, that's Niger State and Kaduna, And the councillor representing the area, Abdulmumini Zakari, who is the deputy speaker in the council, said the gunmen arrived around the community on Wednesday from the Kuyeri forest in Kaduna State. And he actually explained that these gunmen divided themselves into groups, and some went into the palace of the district head, Al-Aji Abdurrahman Danjuma Ali, where they abducted his son, Lukman, as well as his wife, who he married 2 weeks ago. And others attacked the compound of Al-Aji Al-Hassan Sidi Kawu, the Marafa of Kawu, and the former PDP chairman of Kawu Ward. They abducted him along with his 4 children. And the bandits, right now, according to reports, have now placed a 50 million naira ransom on the FCT resident, especially the district head and 5 others. So now, looking at what has transpired, even the FCT Police Command spokeswoman, SP Josephine Ade, confirmed the incident in a reply to a message by Daily Trust reporters. So it seems like right now the FCT is also having its own fair share. This is not the first time we're hearing reports of that area council, Bwala area council, being attacked. Sometime a month ago, we also talked about a similar attack on the Bwala area council. So when you see this at the end of the day, you ask yourself the question, what is it with Nigeria's security architecture? Why do we keep hearing stories of bandit attack? The other day, 3 weeks ago, it was the Kubwa relocation, Arab relocation extension 2, that bandits entered and attacked, kidnapping about 6 persons in that particular report. And funny enough, that's where I stay. So this is something I know firsthand. And even sometime late last year as well, same estate was attacked by bandits still. And the question is, what can the Nigerian government do to ensure that the rate of criminality, the rate of kidnappings, the rate of bandit attacks on communities within the FCT has been addressed? Because right now we might feel they are still doing this within the outskirts of the city center, maybe Bwala area council. Well, we've also heard reports of kidnapping happening even here in Gariki, here in Wusetu as well. Something ought to be done to address the challenges of insecurity in the country as well as the FCT. And the question is, what is even Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, doing? Is he speaking to the president to address this? Most of the heads of the military architecture is here in the FCT. We have the defense house right here in the FCT. We have the police headquarters right here in the FCT. Almost all the security architecture, their headquarters is stationed here in the FCT, and we are hearing cases like this still within the FCT.
All right, this issue of crime rates, right? We know that crime rates will always go up when, the people are poor, they're starving, they're hungry. So definitely, crime rates, it's not an excuse, but it's what happens regardless, right? Crime rates will go up when the youths are not gainfully employed and making reasonable money, because you have youths that are employed making 30,000 naira a month, and that's not employment. That's not enough. That's not enough if you look at the current realities of the economy.
If you say
right? It's not enough.
It seems like you're even exaggerating. There are people still earning 8,000, 5,000.
Exactly. So you can't expect these individuals. What should they do? What should they do? The government isn't working on manufacturing, plans that can help employ Nigerians. You're not talking about, different job creation avenues to actually make Nigerians gainfully employed. I had to check out the crime rate index, global crime rate index, and Nigeria is ranked 13th in the world, in the entire world, all the countries, all the cities in the world. Nigeria is rated 13th with some of the highest crime. Look at the countries that we are ranked with: Venezuela, South Africa, New Guinea, Afghanistan. Honduras, Guyana. We're ranked with Brazil. See the countries that we're ranked with at this point in time, and you begin to wonder, at what point are we going to get serious? Because the crime rates will not drop until the economy is stable. Everything is linked. For some, everything is linked. So the crime rates will not drop because people are hungry. It will not drop. And unfortunately, they are seeing a very, very lucrative business in kidnapping. It's now become a very lucrative venture. Situations where it's been reported cases where the policemen have even been linked I was reading a story on X a couple of weeks ago where a lady was talking about the fact that she got into a one chance vehicle, and somehow where they dropped her, where she escaped somehow in the bush in Abuja here, and when she got to a particular police checkpoint, she told them that there are kidnappers there. There are kidnappers there. They beat her up and carried her back there.
Anyway,
there are situations like that. You begin to wonder.
We've heard reports like this, but we're still hoping that the police comes out to address that and maybe verify or rebuff such report online. But the truth is, something ought to be done about this. You may raise a valid point. People are thriving in criminality. Criminality is now, in fact, a business for some people. Kidnapping is now a venture, a cash cow venture for some people. And I've actually heard even some people, critics of the government and even some security pundits saying that kidnapping will not stop. Especially knowing that these people have found a new way of generating money for themselves. Just going to a community park at the end of the day. So something ought to be done. There should be, aside the kinetic approach, there should also be non-kinetic approach in addressing issues of security holistically in the nation, aside doing this. Because now the security challenge we are facing in the country has now now multifaceted. We're dealing with Boko Haram. Next thing we heard about, headsmen, and next thing we're hearing about bandits. Now, even in the FCT, there are still one chance vendors doing their thing and all of that. So, government ought to have an holistic approach in addressing this, in safeguarding, its citizens.
When it comes to security and intelligence gathering and all of that, Nigeria is said to be one of the best in the world in Africa. Let me put it like that. In Africa, when it comes to gathering intel and infiltrating some places here and there, some people have said that if the government is really, really serious about stopping insecurity in Nigeria, it will be successful. Why? Because you can send people who are non-plain clothes individuals to infiltrate some places, get some information that will help you curtail. If not that we have some rats in our security architecture who help feed these guys with information, how exactly have they been evading arrests?
All this while. And also, just as I said, aside the kinetic, there should also be non-kinetic, approach towards tackling insecurity in the country. And it's a high time security, agencies in the country have a close and good rapport with people in different communities bedeviled by this insurgency at the end of the day and insecurity. Because, the police, the army, the navy, the air force, they cannot do this on their own. They need information. They need intel even from people within those communities. Because at the end of the day, these terrorists, these bandits,
they are from somewhere.
They are
from
within
somewhere.
a particular community, in a particular local government area, in a state, and within the same Nigeria.
They are not hanging in the clouds.
And people know them. They go into the market, they buy things like you and I. They go to filling station. The bikes they use in committing this, havoc, it's been fueled. So which filling stations do they go to buy from? Where do they buy things to feed even their victims as well as some of their footmen as well? So something ought to be done, a holistic approach in addressing the issue of security.
Simeon, something just dropped in my mind, and I just had to look at it from this aspect, right? When it comes to virtue, your virtue as an individual, the things you allow, the kind of, what's it called now? Maybe let me just stick to virtue. A situation where we've dropped in who we are as Africans. There was a time when you would come home with a phone and your mother would beat you until you told her how you got this phone. She will beat you blue black until she knows the origin, where you got that money from. You buy a car and your parents are like, where did you get the money from? Unfortunately, we've gotten to a point in our country where mothers are even the ones gingering their children, gingering parents. Community members are the ones gingering their children to go and do some untoward, activities to get money. Because if you have a situation where young boys, young girls who can actually do something with their hands, who can actually be gainfully employed, opt for something unscrupulous,
and
then illegal, and then you begin to wonder, are these people without parents? Are they orphans? Do they not have families? Do they not have people somewhere who know them?
Quite terrible. And something needs to be done about this. And quickly, let's still touch on the headlines, still on terrorism and all of that.
86 terrorists killed, 60 illegal refineries have been destroyed. This is according to the DHQ. 86 terrorists killed, 60 illegal refineries destroyed. The defense headquarters says the military has eliminated no fewer than 86 terrorists and other criminals and apprehended 101 others in different operations across the country in the last 1 week. It added that 60 illegal refineries were uncovered oil thieves arrested in the Niger Delta area in 1 week. Now, the director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said this while giving an update on the operations of the military on Thursday in Abuja. Buba said the troops had, in the last 1 week, focused on striking terrorist enclaves from air attacks and also exerted significant superior power on areas where the terrorists were hibernating. Now, according to him, the operations resulted in 86 neutralized terrorists, with 101 of them arrested and 21 kidnapped persons rescued. He said the troops also recovered 111 assorted weapons and 1,124 assorted ammunition, comprising 65 AK-47 rifles, 1 HK-G3 gun, 1 G3 rifle, 8 locally fabricated guns, and 15 Dane guns. Also recovered were 2 fabricated rifle, 1 locally made pistol, 1 English pistol, 1 pump action gun, and 2 auto pump action guns, 2 single barrel guns. Anyway, when we reel out some of the ammunitions that these individuals have, they even seem a lot more equipped than the Nigerian police.
Sophisticated. The truth is, this is not the first time we've even seen army officials or security officials, even on social media, even though some of them at the end of the day get commercial for releasing certain information on social media. We actually see them, making remarks that some of the caliber, or the level of sophistication of the weapons some of these kidnappers or bandits or terrorists use, some of them are not even seen within the armory or the arsenal of our top security agencies in the country. And when you see that, this goes to show that these people are heavily funded. And the question is, by who? Who are those funding these individuals that they have this caliber of weapons that are recovered by the Nigerian army whenever they make this, stealth attack on, on their enclave or wherever they are hidden at the moment? Now, the question some Nigerians should be asking is, yes, it's a good one that the Nigerian army, they are coming out to give us details that, over 86 of these terrorists have been neutralized, about 101 arrested, and some who were even kidnapped have been rescued by the Nigerian army. But the Nigerian army needs to do more. We know that at this moment they are losing their men in their droves and in their numbers. And I say sometimes that even the amount of losses that our security agencies have is underreported. Because if some of the figures are being released, the right and accurate figures of our security agencies are being released towards the media or even to the general public, it might even cause some form of tension on Nigeria, that if we are losing this amount of people almost on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, you get to ask yourself, how many of our men are even out there in the bushes or out there ensuring we are protected and safeguarded at the end of the day? Kudos to our Nigerian, I'm talking about cutting across all security outfits. They are doing a great job. We know that at this point, recently, if you even see the funding for our military, it's in the billions, and annually. And when you talk about this, it is expected that individuals within the security architecture do not actually use this money for personal gains. We've seen what happened with the former chief of army staff, where there was drama with him saying money that was meant for fighting Boko Haram, certain individuals embezzled it. And then those foot soldiers, are now the ones suffering from it because they are not better equipped to fight these bandits. I saw a report earlier this morning before coming on, where the army had to debunk the rumors of poor feeding for the army. I don't know if you saw that particular headline. So if this military do not even have the morale, they are not even having that morale to actually fight bandits, because one, their welfare is not even being addressed or properly taken care of. They don't feed properly, and of course, maybe the allowance is given to them is not even enough for them to take care of themselves, not to talk of sending back home. You get to ask yourself, will they even have the morale to fight this insurgency and this bandit? So it's just as I said earlier, an holistic approach has to be taken in addressing this. And aside that, military officials and military personnel, their welfare should be properly taken care of, because at the end of the day, if those people decide to drop their gun and say they know the deal, maybe probably say they know the degree for anybody, as we've heard, at the end of the day, leave Nigeria really porous and prone to attack even from external aggression and aggressors. We've seen the cases of Niger, bandits coming all the way from Niger into Nigeria, causing mayhem and going back to Niger. So many things need to be done. Our military need to do better.
Well, the president, upon assuming office, he talked about a complete overhaul in Nigeria's internal security architecture. This was to boost performance, operations, and achieve better results. However, you also have to look at the in 2023 budget, right? The security enjoyed. In our past budgets, we've had security enjoy the largest allocation, out of the budget. You see that in this particular 2024 budget, you're having about a $35 billion budget, with 12% of that budget going into the Nigeria's security sector. And you begin to wonder, we're seeing situations where these guys are better armed, better equipped. They have more gadgets, more ammunitions than the Nigerian military. And you begin to wonder, some of these funds, do they actually use them for what they have been budgeted for? You talk about acquisition of arms and all of that. We see a lot of situations where monies that were meant for something, we don't use them for those things. We see situations, especially in the army, that once you start asking questions, it's almost like, you better off your mic now. If not, you won't hear from that person in a while. So there are situations where, if we're serious about sorting out the security issue, we need to take some things seriously. Like Simeon said, the welfare of these individuals who put themselves at the front line. Literally, they are armor for Nigerians. They do a selfless job, and we must commend them for doing this much. You're having 86 terrorists neutralized, and 101 of them in just a week. 21 kidnapped persons also rescued. So we're giving them kudos, notwithstanding. To whom much is given, much is equally expected. So you're having the highest budget, much is expected of you. Much more is expected of the Nigerian, security outfits as a whole.
Okay, it's 22 minutes gone past 8 o'clock. Remember, we are still live on YouTube. You can follow the conversation right there on YouTube. Go there, drop a comment as well. Our Voice of the People, Abuja.
We have a WhatsApp message here. It says the Supreme Court should not continue to dirty the stream of justice in Nigeria and make it look as if this is talking about Supreme Court judgments that will be handed down today.
Yes,
and he's talking about the fact that his name is Wilson from Asokoro, and he says the Supreme Court should not continue to dirty the stream of justice in Nigeria and make it look as if the voters have no right to whom they want to rule them. The Supreme Court should note that this is not only the greedy technicality politicians are exploiting, but the right of the electorate should be paramount to that of the greedy politicians. So thank you so much, Wilson from Asokoro as well. We have another message here. It's talking about the fact that Nigeria isn't serious about fighting security yet. Once we are serious, we will see results.
Okay, just as we've said, this actually gives even more flesh to what we've said so far. We know that our military, the best in Africa, can actually do better when it comes to addressing the issue of insecurity in the country. And it's now, boils down to the will of the individuals within the structures of our security architecture to do all they can and within their power to ensure that this is holistically addressed and properly handled. And also, let's quickly talk about this as we are almost out of time. It's 23 minutes past 8 o'clock. Let's get to talk about some headlines as well. And this one is quite worrisome, and that's why we decided to keep this
save it for the last.
Save it for the last. And it has to do with meningitis in the country. And of course, according to the headline this morning, it's on The Nation. It says federal government warns Nigerians against outbreak of meningitis. And according to the report, it said, the government having warned Nigerians about the increased risk of what is called cerebrospinal meningitis, known as CSM, during the dry season, as this is the season for it. It is characterized by dust, winds, and cold nights, saying that in 2023, 190 lives were lost to this disease. And it said the warning becomes important as the weather condition brings with it frequent upper respiratory tract infections that increase the risk of infection, especially with crowding and poor ventilation. And of course, in the 2022-2023 period, Nigeria reported about 2,765 suspected cases, and 303 of those cases were confirmed cases of the cerebrospinal meningitis. And out of the 303 confirmed, 190 people died as a result of this. So that's to show you that the fatality, this is over 60% fatality for those reported. So, and these cases were spread across over 140 local government area in 30 states of the federation, and even including the FCT as well, where we are currently seated in. So something ought to be done about this quickly.
Well, you as an individual, you have to also check out ways to prevent this.
Very
right
true.
You have to check out ways to prevent this because you want to ensure that you are healthy.
Yes.
There's a lot of money to be made this year, and we don't want to do it without you. So try as much as you can to be very, very clean. Good hygiene. We saw that phase out during COVID-19, but it's not. It will be amiss to not mention that you need to wash your hands. You need to stay healthy. You need to cover your mouth. You need to take care with your food. You personal hygiene. You need to be careful about your personal hygiene. Make sure that you're not touching places that you shouldn't touch, and put your hand in your mouth or your eyes and all of that. Stay healthy and try as much as you can to keep your environment clean.
And of course, for those who are, everyone can be affected. It is necessary we state this. Everyone can be affected, all ages, are at risk of having cerebrospinal meningitis. But, the high risk persons are, young children, especially those under or even not immunized at all. So if you haven't gotten the meningitis immunization or vaccination, please, if necessary, you go get that. And even individuals living in overcrowded places, please, we understand the economy and we have a lot of people boxed up living in one-room apartments. Ensure that even while you are living in those spaces, you have your home properly aired. Because if one person gets it, it's an upper respiratory. You have such issues now, so you can actually have that as well. So it is necessary you take action when it comes to this. And for those of you who smoke, please, I think it's about time you stop that, or at least reduce it.
All right. Thank you so much for always tuning in to Voice of the People, 96.1 FM. We'll do this again I was going to say tomorrow, but unfortunately we'll do this on Monday next week. This is the Friday edition, and Nigeria has its first game on Sunday against Equatorial Guinea. That's talking about the AFCON, but it starts tomorrow, and we will be having AFCON updates live right here on Voice of the People. You need to stick with us to check out the time and catch up on that particular bit of information that we'll have to pass out to you. So thank